16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. If everyone could please stand, face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Susan, could you please do roll call?
Sure. Reardon.
Here.
Layton.
Here.
Stasinski. Hetmer.
Here.
Walsh. Here. Andres.
Here.
Did I say Layton?
You did.
I did, okay.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the agenda. If we could please review it for any conflict of interest, and then if there's no conflict of interest, move to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, approval of the agenda made by Walsh, supported by Layton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Public comment. Doesn't look to be like any public here this evening. All right, moving on to approval of the minutes from November 18th, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 18th, 2024.
Support. All right, motion by Layton, supported by LaRose for the approval of the minutes from November 18, 2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Correspondences, I think we had a few since our last meeting. We have a new banner that was made by Sam that's now, I believe, placed today.
He picked it up today. I don't know.
Okay, so hopefully it'll be installed here soon, up at Grace McDowell Park for the sledding party. I think Beth let us know the outcome on the grant. And then also there was a DNR trust fund grant that was approved for the Tart Trail stuff. And then, yeah, there's just some geocache ones that's just more of a, yeah, subcommittee deal, but that's all I got. Unless anyone saw anything else, email-wise. All right. Moving on to reports. Garrison, would you mind doing a quick treasurer's report?
Sure, we got a couple different ones, one in the packet, one kind of 2025 future-looking one. As far as the packet one, we're 74% expended budget, so there's a little bit of money left, but decently on track. There's $50,000 sitting in the Grace McDonald Park improvement line that hasn't been used at all. I'm wondering, are we just waiting for billing on that, or is that money we could use somewhere else?
We're ordering.
Okay. Also, we came under budget in attorney fees and engineering fees, which is always good. And we haven't spent much for Holiday Woodlands Natural Area. Do we plan to spend that? Do you know anything, Beth or Sarah?
Yeah, is it 15,000?
17,850.
Yeah, so that's for the community engagement and visioning. So that'll probably carry over into next year's.
Okay. So that was really the only things I had comments on that one. The other one, you can see 2025 requested and adopted. Pretty significant difference.
Yeah, that's what I was here to go over.
So yeah, by all means.
So first, they did get the banner up today for the sledding. I talked with Dan late this afternoon, And also, I want to offer congratulations to Zach. There is a First Lady of East Bay Township Parks now, because he is now married, so.
Saw that shiny ring over
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Got married this weekend, so that was exciting. But this is the budget report. I wanted to bring this back to you and show you the 2025 adopted report. The board met and discussed the budget 3 times. It was passed at our December board meeting where we had the public hearing. When I originally showed them the budget, I did, and I had talked with Zach about this too, I had showed it to them with a balanced budget, which, was, so net zero, right? Revenues equal expenses. Well, a balanced budget can have more expenditures than that. You're just pulling from fund balance. But traditionally, what people think of as a balanced budget, where your revenues equal your expenditures, we did not have in the 300 and 125. I just did that as an illustrative purpose to show them. When the budget was forwarded to them, they did, as well, we looked at it with the 300,000 and the 125,000 in there. At the last discussion meeting that we had, which I think was the same time that you guys had your meeting in the other room, what the board conveyed to me, and I took back and changed that, was they would like to see, it's not that they don't want to do the projects or don't want you to do the projects, they would just like to see them like piecemealed and just brought through for approval. So, for example, Grace McDonald was like 3 projects rolled into that 300,000. They would rather see, if you're focusing on one, make sure you have all your estimates and so forth, and then approve that project to be done, and then amend the budget, and then they will amend the budget accordingly. So I didn't hear any discussion that they did not want to do any of the projects that you had mentioned, just that they wanted to see further information on them. So,
Is that the main reason why then, that happened, is they,
yeah, that's the only reason that I heard, that they would like to see like each project and, the cost estimates. Because, for example, in the Grace McDonald, or even the Arbutus Lake, which they knew was the Phase 2 portion of it, well, how much is the play equipment going to be? Well, that depends, right? It depends which pieces you pick, it depends, those types of things. So rather than say, do that for 125, they'd rather you put together the project and then approve it with an amended budget, and then have them amend it at the next meeting, and then go through with the project. So,
For Grace McDonald, we're talking cornhole, dog park, and what's the third one? Basketball courts?
no, cornhole, dog park, and.
Oh, the pavilion, sorry.
The pavilion,
yeah.
that's correct. And a grant application did go in the 2% last round for the pavilion. So, and that will require, and I think like something like that, maybe what they were saying is like, if you are awarded funding through the 2%, then put the 2% grant with your estimates, which Sam's been working on some estimates with some vendors. Put that all together as a project, amend your budget, and that'll go forward to them for them to approve. I think they felt more comfortable with a more defined project than like some project titles with some pretty broad estimates. So, and do you have any questions? Fine.
I'm just trying to catch up here.
Is there a timeline we need to get them this stuff?
No, I
Sooner
mean,
the
just
better.
as you're doing projects, you'll have to factor in some time there, because when you approve something and choose to amend the budget, then that needs to go to their next meeting,
Okay.
but,
So is some of that 300,000 and 125,000, is that some of that from the fund balance?
yeah, it would be from the fund balance, yep.
So they'd rather be the ones to manage the fund balance for us?
I think a little bit,
Okay,
maybe, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Any other questions? And we are putting in for this week or next week, be completing the reimbursement for the Arbutus for the $300,000 too. So, if you don't have anything else, I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Oh. Thank you.
All right, take care. Have a good day, guys.
You too. Well, if there's no more questions with the treasurer's report, we can move on to 8B, staff report.
Hi, guys. So Beth covered quite a few of the things. The main things are the sledding party banners up, so that's exciting. It had a little bit of a redesign because we needed to order a new one. The other one was nowhere to be found, so you'll notice it kind of got a little bit of an update. And the other thing that got a little bit of an update is I've been working on updating the website, so new park descriptions based on the record plan that you guys came out with, adding new photos, kind of updating the reserve a pavilion section to give a little bit more information for how to do that, based on some of that, the information I compiled when we were looking at the fees and things. We also have an upcoming and ongoing projects tab now, and an events and activities tab, so those will be kind of getting updated as well. And the Parks and Rec plan is now officially updated on the website. We've been having a little bit of, with the switch over to the new site, some technical difficulties, so if things don't look right, let me know and I'll try and troubleshoot that with the website people. And then also I had Traverse City Tourism update a couple of our parks on their pages because they were a little bit out of date with the information as well. And then we are working on launching the Pine Grove Park Survey, so that should be coming out probably beginning of this next year. And then we're also working on getting the stakeholder meeting scheduled for Holiday Woodlands and kind of reviewing some designs with them. So those are kind of where we're at with that stuff. And then, yes, the 2% grant got put in for the Grace McDonald heating. So,
What's the timeline for that, for them to respond?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look.
Okay.
And then what was it, Cornhole Pavilions and Dog Park? Was there a fourth one for Grace?
No,
No?
just
Okay.
3.
I have nothing additional.
That was a good point, Ryan. That was a good point you made.
It just seems a little odd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. All right, moving on to 8C geocaching subcommittee. Not much to let you guys know, but all the geocaches are placed. We do have an issue with distance tolerance at Pines Park, which I still need to get out and do that. I'm hoping this week I can get out there one night and move it.
How close is the other one?
What I measured, it's 728 feet, roughly. It's supposed to be 528 feet,
Right.
but I don't know where the issue is coming from, but depending where you get your coordinates from, I guess, because the little map with the tolerances for Pine Grove, like it was showing the geocache in the middle of the park on the map, and that's not where it was. It was on the property line, so I'm not sure with the,
The cache is okay, just the placement on the website's wrong?
well, but it goes, yeah. Yeah. It's the tolerance, whatever mapping software you use to get your GPS coordinate was a little off. I don't know how that all works, but yeah, work on that. I know Sam went out and found a couple of them, so people are having a hard time with Holiday Woodlands, but I didn't think it was that hard, but
I couldn't find it today. There's a lot of snow on the ground. So.
yeah, I mean, snow definitely for ground-based geocaches.
I mean, I've gotten turned around out there, not even looking for something, so I
Yeah.
can see how that one would be a little bit harder.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was that hard when I placed it. To me, it looked pretty obvious. Location to look,
Challenge accepted, yeah, all right.
but like they can't all be very obvious. I don't know, but so it's a couple things to look into on our end, but yeah, the rest of it I think is going pretty good. So yeah, well, if there's no more questions on that. you can move on to business before the Parks Commission, 9A, election of officers, so I guess just start with the chair position, and then,
Yeah, and somebody can just nominate, if you want to do it that way, and if you want to do a motion all at one time, so you can nominate chair, and then nominate vice chair and secretary, and then do one vote, or if you want to do them all separate. Doesn't have to be super formal, or it can be as formal as you want it to be.
So Zach is our chair, Susan's our secretary, Garrison is our treasurer, and you're the vice chair. Would anybody like to relinquish their position?
I'm content. I'm pretty easy though.
yeah.
So
I'm fine with staying where I'm at unless someone else wants to boot me.
I think our officers do a great job.
You don't want to wear the crown?
I do not know.
then I will make a motion to retain our current officers throughout the next year.
I support that motion.
Yeah, and we don't need a roll call on this one. Yeah,
Is this, I see this, oh no, that's,
yeah.
You
So.
don't need to vote on it, but.
Yeah, so, motion to, continue with the same, elections, current with, Andrus chair, Walsh vice chair, LaRose secretary, and treasurer Reardon, made by Layton, and supported by, Hetmer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Congrats to another successful election.
Yeah, that was easy. All right. Okay, moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9B, meeting dates and times, 2025.
They pretty much all follow the sequence of your meetings, other than the first two have to be shifted a week for the holiday. But other than that, the rest
They're
of them.
they're really late.
Okay.
They look fine with me.
Yeah.
So January 21st and then February.
No, 27th.
7th and then the 24th.
they're on the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're the following week. There's a holiday which is the plant, one of our meetings, and then we'd have we'd have dueling meetings again.
MLK and then President's Day?
Yep.
Yep. Is this really our first resolution of the
I
year?
know, that's what I said.
I believe so.
It's December.
I only started in this role a few months ago, so I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think the only resolution we usually do is to set the meeting agenda, like schedule.
Unless you did a resolution of support for any grants, but MDARD was last year, so.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm okay with all these dates.
I make a motion to support the dates for the meetings for Parks Commission and the time to start at 6 PM. Resolution PKS-2024-01 as presented.
Support. None. We do have to do a roll call. Did you want to fill this out, or you want me to?
We could do that afterwards.
Okay,
You can fill that. Layton,
okay.
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
Hepler,
Yes.
LaRose, yes. Andres?
Yes. All right, yeah, looks like motion passed, so we can move on from that, and I will finish filling that out here a little later. All right. All right, business before the Parks Commission, 9C, review of the Park Commission bylaws. You can see those in your packet. I know we just looked at them not too long ago, but we were wanting to get in a routine of every year, looking at them and making sure they're still how we want them to be, so.
Do we know if these, are they in any way substantially different from other bylaws in the township? Is there anything that we should be considering that we're not? I mean, it all seems like relatively boilerplate.
I believe these were drafted to kind of mirror the planning department.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're in line with.
Read through them earlier, they looked good.
So.
Do we need a motion if we're not changing them?
I don't think so.
We just
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, adopt them, yeah. So, it's just more of a review, so. If everyone's good with them, we can move on. If anyone has any questions, speak up.
I'm all set.
All right. Okay, moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9D, public spaces, community places discussion. Which in your packet, you can see some documentation on that. So.
I wanted to kind of present this to you guys as an opportunity for funding for the community garden. I thought that it has a nice component to it of that it's crowdsourced funding, so it can bring some kind of awareness to the project, drum up some interest for it. We kind of already have the farmer's market, so really like bringing awareness to that food security incubator that you guys are trying to establish. But wanted to kind of see if this is kind of some basic information, the guide, kind of how to do the grant process, kind of talks a little bit more in depth about what that crowdsourced funding looks like. It can be about up to $25,000 match from MEDC, and then up to $25,000 match from the crowdsource funding. And so if you meet the crowdsource goal, MEDC kicks in the $25,000, and then you would kick in the remainder from township match to complete however much of the community garden you would like. It's usually around that $100,000 range, up to maybe like 120, depending on how much you would like to contribute. And then you use the MEDC and the MML to kind of help promote the grant as well and do the crowdsource funding. So it's a quick turnaround. You have 60 days to raise that $25,000 through crowdsource funding. So the township is limited in that they would only have kind of the Facebook for the farmer's market with its limited following, and the Instagram as like and the website, obviously, for the township. But we don't have kind of a good modernized communication route that would better facilitate this, but I think it could be done. So just kind of trying to gauge whether you guys thought this would be something to pursue further with the MEDC, or if we want to look at other opportunities.
I've done this before, and I would say we would definitely want social media if we're going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess how does crowdfunding, or is like blasting it to like East Bay Township residents asking for donations, or is it like a statewide, we hop on, piggyback on whatever they're already doing with?
From what I understand from reading through it, it sounds like the MEDC and the MML will also put it out to their networks that they are trying to crowdsource fund for this project. So that's those two are huge networks. So that would be statewide. And then, yes, we would do our own, we would reach out to probably the stakeholder groups that we're involved in coming up with the plan for the garden, and, like start looking through a lot of our internal ways of communicating. Press releases, the Facebook for the farmer's market could be utilized for that purpose to kind of say, hey, we're trying to do this thing.
Patrona City is really good with walking through every step of the way with you. They'll like send a videographer to make a video that you could spread on social media and stuff like that.
Sounds like we're gonna need some models, so. You have a cute new baby, so we might need you guys.
Yeah, that's the last place you want your baby.
Yeah, so, and I'm happy to explore it more, I just kind of wanted to find out from you guys, gauge your desire to do it or not. Because it would be kind of a big lift, we're gonna want everybody to reach out to all of their networks to really try and get the word out that this is happening, and that could be a great opportunity for East Bay Township too, because it could build that first chunk of it. The diagram on the back for this plan is kind of the same proposed plan we had applied for MDARD with, so it's kind of that $100,000. It gets us some sidewalks and infrastructure in place, and then we can kind of build on it from there.
It'll do 1A, we're talking on this map?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
kind of that, just the kind of amended diagram of this smaller chunk. It's
Right,
kind of the overall that's detailed out in that dashed indication, but
If I have no idea what type of fundraising success we've had in the past, but if we can't get 25,000, can we chip in, or we can only chip in 50,000? Or like, could we say do 75,000, they'd still give us 25?
So it would have to come from a crowdsourced funding, and there are limits to the amount each individual can donate.
Gotcha.
I remember seeing that in the criteria here. And so I think you have to get the full 20, like it's designed to show that there's community support for the project that you're doing, which is
Sure.
why the crowdfunding component comes in. And then MADC picks that up and matches it.
Okay.
So it looks like an individual can donate a maximum of $10,000 or 35% of the goal.
That's a big chunk. Okay. Yeah, I see no cons in trying, right?
What I've seen in the past too is when you have this going, a lot of those larger donations will reach out directly to, like, say, the township or the county or, whatever.
Absolutely no reason that somebody couldn't donate more than $10,000 to the
Right.
community garden if they wanted to do it directly to East Bay Township.
The 60-day timeline, though,
That's
seems,
gonna take, I mean, we could time it well, with a tax mailing, with a newsletter and such. My only concern is that this seems like if you have a fundraising campaign, like getting that crowdsourcing and those like smaller donations seems like kind of like an end of campaign thing. And so it would be like, I wouldn't want folks to donate and get really excited about it, and then us just be like, oh, but, it's still gonna take us a couple of years to like build all this stuff and do all of that. And so I do, obviously, there's some work that can be done here. But that was just like my initial reaction was, oh, is this, like, love the opportunity, love the idea of getting local people, like, some skin in the game, And I think that would really create some like ties and like placemaking to the community garden. It seemed like something that was maybe more of like an end of fundraising, because it's like a smaller amount compared to the whole entire project. And we can only do so much with that.
And, yeah, I mean, the publics aren't going to want to see some sort of immediate result coming out of it too. So, I mean,
Right.
if we have to have like a phase one or something that would fall
Well,
within
that's
that.
what like the 1A
Yeah,
is,
we
right?
we
Sure, a
have to be
couple of,
very
like,
clear on
raised beds
what
and
we're gonna
things.
build. That's a good point.
Yeah, I guess
didn't
I
think
would
about
like,
it.
yeah, I would want phase 1A to be something that could be easily built upon. I mean, I know we have these designs, but just like be very mindful about like, we can easily build upon this, but also it like looks kind of complete when it's done, like it's functional. What we build with this smaller amount of money is functional, because I don't want people to be like, oh, this is like a
Oh, this is gonna be it.
project or whatever it is,
Yeah.
That would be my only
So how do you
concern.
do that then?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to spend a little bit more time with these.
The sketch.
Yeah. Also, I was not around when these were made.
I mean, there'll be a farm fence around the 1A section to make it look like one completed area that we would essentially just rip out that fence for expansion, or maybe not.
Is it like, can we do that whole entire, I was just thinking it was the things that were colored. can we do the whole
thought it was
entire
just-
1A within that fencing, or is that?
Oh, I was thinking it was this whole square of
I
one.
I thought it was just the red.
It is the
item.
southern, so phase one is the northern half, phase two is the southern half
Right.
of that overall design, and that is the southern chunk of the north part. So
Right.
that fence line, yes, would
That farm
end, cut
fence.
across, with the opportunity to have some additional like in-ground beds in that area, and then you can expand the fence out further, because that's,
Okay,
Like-
cool. I was just thinking it was just those ones that were those bright colors.
Yeah.
But if
yeah,
it's a
there's, no,
whole
there's
1A,
fence, it's
Those are
that's
just like-
pretty-
completed,
Those are
there's
just
completed
Okay.
fence all the way around.
Okay. Yep.
There's 3 different bins for compost, as well
Mm-hmm.
as a topsoil bin and a mulch bin, and then the sidewalk that kind of gets you out to at least that point
Okay, sweet.
with future expansion opportunities. So you could theoretically just fence in the
Do
remainder of
everything
it.
in 1A for $100,000?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
What kind of excavating's going on
Um,
with this garden?
I don't anticipate a ton in this area. It's because it's relatively flat when you walk out the back there. It's kind of when it gets to this retention basin over here and kind of up near those trees. So it would be flattened though with the idea that future expansion would be happening.
Well, I'm totally against going in and excavating that soil. We've discussed it before at the community garden. It has a natural slope, so we should take advantage of that natural slope, not only for the nutrients that are in the ground, but you go in there and you bulldoze and flatten it all out. There's runoff, there's all kinds of things going on. Same with the concrete in on a garden, just again, water runoff, drainage. So the best we could do, which we should do, is make sure to use the sloping of the existing land and not come in and flatten it and make it to, so for best use, I'm sure the engineers, we had several conversations on being able to do that, but I don't know where the plan is now with that, but that's my 2 cents with the Master Gardener Program. I think you're probably very familiar too with trying to keep that subsoil and that, not moving that around too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think to install the pathways, you'd have to do some removal of some dirt, but I think, yeah, in general, that's in a pretty flat area, so.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does
we-
have a natural slope, and it actually slopes down towards the property, towards the west, and then down towards the south.
Mhm.
So it has a natural, like for runoff and drainage, it has already a natural slope to it that I know of. I'm not an engineer, but,
I think that's why they added this area where they have a call out for, it's kind of small, but having like a wildflower seed mix adjacent to
I
that
saw
sidewalk
that.
area to kind of absorb some of that runoff initially, right, so it's right there processing it.
When is this due?
It's not necessarily due, it's kind of
Okay.
a running opportunity, so we could, it could kind of
Right.
happen when we have the ability to. I just wouldn't.
I think we would have to put a lot of social media in place before we were to take on a task like this.
I wonder if it might be wise just to reach out to Patronage City and start a conversation, see what kind of input they could provide, because they might give us some pointers, like, you definitely want to have an established Facebook page or whatever. They could even, kind of look over the scope of the project and tell you if they think there'd be enough momentum or, the best strategy to approach it. But, yeah, and they're really nice. I mean, they seriously, like, hold your hand and walk you through everything. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we're getting better at communicating with the township, with the public, but I don't think we're like this ready for it. Not that we can't be.
A lot of times, something like this
Get
will
implemented.
be the good stepping stone to bring that community, because, I mean, they really hit, press releases and making videos and, the
Yep.
Probably, yeah, it's a good, it's a good way to build that momentum for the garden, you know? I think it's a good way to do it. You know, I want to focus on the garden, but, I'm just wondering if it's the right project for that platform too. It's hard to know. So, I mean, starting a conversation is a good start.
Yeah, or if there is a other project that would work for the,
Yeah, I was looking
Right,
through
this was the one that made
examples of
sense.
projects,
Okay.
but this makes sense. It's like a public gathering space, pavilion, ultimately an amphitheater. That was also a listed example.
The other one, I was thinking dog park, people get excited for it pretty
Yeah.
quick too.
You know I'm pro dog park, absolutely. But also, I want to acknowledge Susan and Corey, all their efforts in the community garden. I know it was a huge project long before I ever came here. And I know we've spent a lot of money on plans and everything, so I'd like to see something come to fruition. If we could
Yeah.
take a swing and do 1A, I think I would be satisfied with that.
And I'm not sure, I'm sort of on the fence post, just on the thought that I don't know if this is the right project for what we're talking about yet, because they might be looking, like Ally said, they might be looking for a finished project. Oh, is this what it's going to be? This is it, you know?
Well, now that I know, that we can get all of that 1A with this,
That's a solid
I
start.
think
did
that's a
not.
really solid start, because that area does encompass, like the composting area, multiple raised beds, and it is kind of.
Why
in the
were
middle.
those certain beds colored in and not the other
I
ones?
think those are the
Those are
raised
in the
ones.
ground.
Oh.
The other
Good
ones are
example of
raised.
placemaking
And
too.
some of them are ADA for a wheelchair. It labels them all if they're wheelchair accessible and stuff like that. I gotta admit, Susan, I thought you'd be jumping for joy on this. I didn't expect any
I
pushback from
think
you.
I've been so shut down over the years that you never know.
Yeah, I feel like this is a
Where
great
it's
way
gonna
to
go
actually
and
get
just
something
sort
done
of
with that
coming down.
project. And if it's a success, then it makes it that much better to crowdfund part two.
And I think it's the concern about it either not completing enough of the project or looking incomplete is more about the narrative, I think, when you sell it to the people that are gonna fund it, is you just talk about it like it's kicking off this long-awaited project that we've had plans for a while, and, it'd be breaking off a small chunk that could be expanded on later, so that way you kind of set people's expectations, like, we're trying to move the ball forward, do you wanna help do that?
And by the end of it too, you'll have marketing material for, expanding the project, and, I mean, it's a, good way to start the project, but,
Are there any community partners that we could work with to amplify our crowdfunding endeavors?
So there was the group that was part of the design, so that included, I think, like Seeds and the Conservation District and the.
Wasn't Conservation
Urban Conserv-
District is Michigan State University
Yeah.
Extension,
Yeah.
and then Seeds,
Yeah.
and the schools.
Yeah, the schools.
Schools
And I
and
know
all
that
the
there was a group of people that also wrote us letters of support for the MDART grant. I could reach out to them and see if they're,
Okay.
so I think we would have the necessary community partners to help.
I
think
mean,
that would be critical.
it'd be a great place, I'm excited about that pavilion area, the teaching opportunity, the learning opportunity of the whole community garden, even with mulching and recycling and all that. It'd be a great thing to get started on, that's for sure.
So you think phase two is the more priority for you?
It's hard to say, because really, you almost need your base first, the phase one.
Yeah, we gotta have a garden, right?
Yeah, and then two, the expansion would be good, that phase 1B. And is the phase 1B, it looks like it incorporates that pavilion type area.
On the north side?
I think
Mm-hmm.
it was like a long, like, table potting bench area, I think that is, in the back corner, I wanna
Yeah,
say.
I mean, I was hoping more of a covered roof,
I think that,
enclosed area.
the
but- Mm-hmm.
plans had like a covered roof with solar, I think, for like potting slash maybe like
Yeah.
dining.
But I was thinking you could have classes there too,
Mhm.
benches and chairs.
But is that this is where it goes downhill to the north, is that how? I gotta walk out there, I guess. I don't walk behind the building
The
ever.
north end is the higher end.
Yeah.
Oh, it slopes south?
Down towards the parking lot and retention basin over here.
Gotcha.
And then they kind of all pool into that retention basin.
Okay.
But it also slopes slightly to the wooded area. that
Yeah,
way.
to the west.
Sure, okay, thank you for that.
Well, we probably shouldn't overthink it, because, I mean,
Yeah.
we gotta have these to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I
I
mean, do we
think
say
we got-
no and not even try? That seems silly.
Well, I don't think any of us are saying no, it's just, you know, to reach out to those sources, you already said it, Sam, and just get it going, however it needs to get going. I mean, it'd be a great, on the sledding party, have something out there again about the community garden, a little tripod thing,
We're gonna have you out there.
and that'd be sledding.
She doesn't
I
forget.
went practice, I practiced this weekend sledding.
It looks like there was a lot of use out there.
Oh, cool.
Weekend.
Oh, I
Lots
bet
of
you
little-
it's
Lots of
iced
little
up.
footprints when I went to go geocaching this morning. I had to try to find the Holiday Woodlands one.
I was trying to see, what if we don't reach our goal within 60 days, what do we do?
I
That's
believe,
the risk I think we take, is
Yeah.
that you could get people really excited about. That was kind of the
Yeah,
question of, do we want to pursue this opportunity for this project, or I'll keep looking kind of a thing? And we can know that this is here as an opportunity for either the community garden at a later date, when we maybe have some staff that does communications for the township, we have the Facebook, and maybe it's another, the dog park or
You know,
something.
I personally think that the dog park seems to be like everyone has a dog, and that dog park might have a better punch and enthusiasm with that 60-day window, you know.
and still, we gotta,
$100,000 dog park, though? I saw that as being a much smaller project.
Yeah.
no.
Like
that's
fencing,
not-
irrigation.
But you're also thinking about like dog fountains, water fountains.
And exercise, we're
irrigation,
having those
I get-
owners
ADA
exercise.
Accessibility, concrete, things like that.
Honestly, 100,000 might not be enough.
My notes from September say that we estimated that, or Beth, I think, estimated it at about 85,000.
So,
So
So
100.
that could
Yeah.
be a good one.
and that might be a little less destructing, constructing, I think, with the dog park than with the community garden at this point.
Yeah.
Because you already have the land there. I mean, you pretty much, I think we'll just use the existing, how it is, other than putting things in. You already have the draw of people going over to Grace. People might be more excited than to contribute because they already go over there.
People will spend money on their pets, too.
And people spend money on their pets.
Oh, too much.
So that one might be the first one to get our toes wet. Can we do more?
I was gonna say, if one
than
fails,
just
can we
this one, or
resubmit?
what?
But then you
Well-
crowdfund it, and then you have to crowdfund for something
You do it
else.
more than once, but it just, picking, if you give them the options of, doing a review on, a dog park or the garden. The garden I thought was a good idea because it would connect with the
Farmer's market.
farmer's market. I thought that would
I
go
think
good.
I think they actually listed as types of activities allowed. They specifically list farmers markets, community kitchens, pop-up retail, incubator spaces, community or not. So that was kind of the thing that I had pulled out of
yeah.
that grant to be like, oh, this could work for this.
Yeah,
But
so we need to-
I don't see why park enhancements.
General park
would
enhancements
also
that said,
be
yeah.
The dog park, or.
Activating a public space. You use a dog park year-round, the garden's seasonal, that's one pro versus con.
Yeah.
And I think we have money earmarked for, something. out.
Well, we did.
Well,
Well, but
if it's fund balance for
Well,
us.
you'd be-
I would like to prioritize getting that money back.
For it.
Yeah, we still got to match it.
So.
If we were.
I think a dog park could also, especially, I think if we do a crowdfunding for the dog park, that might connect us to the community with more outreach opportunities. So whenever we have surveys and stuff and communications,
Well, there's other stuff
Built
too,
into this.
like, we could do.
Yes,
you're saying?
yes, thank you.
Woodland Property, a trailhead there, that would take some money, about the same back,
That,
little parking lot area.
I have a really quick question. Are we still waiting to hear about the congressionally directed funds that we applied for the community garden?
Yeah,
Because I do
the
want
govern,
to
the
note that we
government,
did request $450,000 for
Yeah.
that.
yeah, that was the governor's,
It was staff and
or
staff.
stat,
Honestly,
some, yeah.
I don't think we
Yeah.
got that one.
She retired.
Well,
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that money.
Same.
I don't know when we were supposed to hear,
I
but
guess like my question is, what other funding opportunities, we've gone through a couple of funding opportunities for the community garden, what other funding opportunities do we think are viable for that project at this point?
We also don't have to vote on this tonight.
Yeah.
I mean,
We could all think about it and come back with your pet
Yeah.
project.
And there's-
Discussion to find out where you guys are at, there's no necessary.
Well, there's the Olson grant, I think. Olson's has a grant for that community garden. That would be like a perfect one for the community garden. And,
which one is that? I don't think I'm familiar.
the Olson
Olson
Foundation.
Foundation.
Oh, the Olson
Yeah.
Foundation.
I believe we got some money for the Safe Routes to, for Tart Trail, Safe Routes to School project from them this year recently, so, we may have to wait a minute before we ask for more.
Well,
But I can find out if we were awarded that.
is this the first time we've ever talked about breaking off this project into 3 phases now, where we're looking at maybe we can build $100,000 phase and build from there?
We looked into splitting, that's why it's split up.
That was precipitated just by that the MDARD grant was $100,000, so I asked Beckett and Rader to see what $100,000 could build us, and so, in kind of re-looking at the plan and trying to figure out like an iteration that would work, we kind of settled on this as the highest impact chunk for the $100,000. We're not gonna be able to build the pavilions or kind of some of that larger infrastructure for that, 'cause it's a
Right.
lot of solid stone and construction of things. This was more like, these beds are modular, they can be placed or moved or relocated as the community garden grows, and then you get some infrastructure like water and the sidewalk and that kind of stuff put in.
I think it came up once before because originally it was like $800,000 or $900,000. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Can we split it in
900,000.
half?
Yes.
And then they still came back like, oh my God, it's still almost $500,000. Like, can we split it in quarters? And then, I don't think that ever happened until this, but we briefly talked about a 1A, 1B, I'm pretty sure. Because even when they cut it in half, I'm like, wow, this is still a lot to swallow.
I don't know, I'm just not, I'm not confident that we have the community connections to pull out 25,000. I could be completely wrong.
25,000's not bad. Is it 25,000 or 50,000 we have to do?
So you would need to come up with 25,000 community sourced grant. like
And then 50 from the
from
actual
crowd
township,
sourced funding.
25
And then they
is the
match
actual
the
grant.
25 from MEDC, and then the
We
township
match.
would contribute the other 50%, whatever that, or more, if they wanted. Like, you can go up to, I believe, like
I thought-
120 for the total project costs, so that would be 70 from the township, and then 50 from, 25 from MEDC, 25 from crowdsource.
And for some reason, I thought their grant match was 50,000.
Have we ever applied for or looked into Rotary's seed grants?
That's what we're using for the Holiday Woodlands. I don't know, because that was community engagement. I know that's one of them that they like to fund with that seeds grant. I don't remember the rest of it. Yeah, I don't know if it is
I
infrastructure.
know they've got like 2 tracks.
Yeah, I just,
And there's one for, this would be into the, it's kind of like a planning one, but we've already done that for
Right.
this project. And then there's an implementation.
We might be able to, so that, because that M-Parks is coming for the conference here in, I think it's February.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be a good
should
networking
register.
opportunity. They, there's grant classes. I don't know, I haven't looked at their list. But, if we're, able to send people to go do that, that'd be very beneficial. I think we allocated money for you already,
Yeah.
or that was part of the plan for that, but.
Yeah, that membership, I think, was in
Right.
there.
And I believe there's a day for commissioners to go to, where if you're part of the membership, there's a commissioner day that you can go and take part of it.
We can get all our cohorts from across the state. That would.
I guess
Is that the
that would
resort?
Be kind of
Parks and Rec
fun.
people again.
Is it at Grand Traverse Resort? Do we know?
I don't know, where's it at?
Do you know where it's
Do you
at? Is it,
The resort.
The resort.
Well,
I could swing that.
Very cool.
It'd be fun.
Well,
A lot of
considering
resources.
Corey and Susan, the garden pros here, don't seem super hard on getting this application in
Well,
for
I just
that.
want it to be successful, and I don't know yet,
Yeah.
because we don't have that social media yet.
That's what I'm
following.
saying. I would be embarrassed.
Sure.
If we-
And
if
you would
it-
hate to jump and do, and then it be a flop because
Mm-hmm.
of lots of variables in there. I mean, I hate to reach out and then it not
Sure.
work
I
right.
get it. I
The
do
way
think it-
we wanted it to work.
I would also like, coming up to what Ally said in the very beginning, build phase one, and then have a tangible project to show to people and say, this is our community garden, we're going in for phase two. And like you said, it'd be more like end product as
Yeah.
opposed to, oh, I just donated money and you're not gonna have the thing built for 3 years.
well, also too, consider that that comment was made before I fully understood that phase 1A could be completed for that amount of money, but I do think that would be great for like 1B.
Yeah.
I do see that.
So what did we budget for the community garden? And we still don't have a line item for that I know of.
I
Do
think
we?
it's just,
I don't think
general
we do.
capital
I think
outlay.
I've asked for a line item, and it just sort of sits there. It just sort of just sits there.
Yeah, because they talked about updating these when they did the chart of accounts, and that hasn't made
Nothing's
its way
happened.
through. Yeah.
So maybe someone could reach out to Beth and ask her about that. I mean, I'm clueless. I don't even see where we have any money set aside. I can't remember when we were working on that budget.
well, I mean, yeah, all of our big line items are zeroed out for 25 as it
And
is.
this-
I know.
I
missed
don't think
the
we put
budget.
any big money towards community
Yeah.
garden in this budget, because if we were doing it once we received the grants, then we were putting it in the budget type of thing. So there, I don't believe that we did
And most of it-
budget.
But we
in-
got a holiday woodlands.
But we're
How
currently-
come we don't have one for the community garden?
But
I
isn't
don't know.
there
I know that Beth's aware of that, because it's been brought up multiple times.
I mean, come on now.
So, I don't know, that was,
I don't either, but it's like out of sight, out of mind.
So
I,
what's our statement here on
For
this?
Sam, give him
Yeah.
I
a
would ask
direction.
Sam if it's possible.
What's our master
to-
plan say?
Well, community garden is first. on
Could
that.
you mock up this application for the dog park by next meeting? Or no?
I could, yeah, I can start working, I don't know about by next meeting, but I can start working on
We
it.
have many holidays in between now.
Yeah, my
and
bad.
our meeting.
That's my bad.
I can at least reach out to the MEDC and start engaging a little bit more formally with the
If they
process
think
and
that would,
find
you
out
know-
kind of where we're at, get some guidance on it. Sounds like the social media is the biggest concern, and whether or not they've had communities that are successful that don't have that. I think
that'd be my question is
ask a
what,
lot of those questions.
So,
you guys have been
so if you go to the Patron of City website, there'll be projects in there that you could look at. I think there's a few out in Cadillac.
Patroness, what'd you say?
Patron of City.
it's the
It's like
link.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Website of where this is. You inquire through them, and then, they'll work with, the MEDC and walk you through the process, and, they'll set you up for success, and, they're not gonna, let you do this, with, little confidence, that it's gonna succeed, If they feel like it's not gonna work, they'll let you know, but, I don't know, I've been wanting to use them again for a project
Sure.
for a while, because it was a good experience.
I do agree that I think the dog park one's a lot easier to crowd fund, just because people spend blindly on pets, and you could do fun stuff too, like, donate your dog's name and like post a picture of your cute pet or something like that. But if
Related
it's,
businesses that wanna-
if it's a lower rated application, then
I think Ally just had I saw the light bulb go off. What is it?
I just saw the cutest thing in my head, and it's a wall with like bones or something on it, with your little doggo's name on it, and it's like a donor wall, but it's like the dog's, oh my God.
That's a
it's
great
so
idea.
What if like a
cute.
section of each fence
Yes. And it
has like in the fence line?
Or
That's a
like
great
paw
idea, too.
prints with their names on it, or whatever it
In the
is.
concrete for all the walkways.
Absolutely.
Right, something super cute, sorry, you guys. I
No,
just
it's,
like-
no, don't apologize.
See how it was so much easier to
cute.
come up with like 2 or 3 different
Right.
crowdfunding ideas right off the bat for
Plus, that
dogs.
would be a nice, like, if the paw print or whatever, would probably outlast the dogs. It'd be a really nice
Right.
memory for people too.
So,
You
what
could
I'm,
have a memory lane of those that have passed before.
we could have a rainbow bridge.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
All right, well,
Oh,
so-
yes.
Getting
We'll
expensive.
just take all these personal ideas
Absolutely.
and put them in our back pocket.
Oh,
So it
yes.
sounds like you'd like Sam to work on,
Thank
You can go in the dog direction, that'd be
Or-
great.
and that's consensus for that item.
Do we, okay, so are we shifting this crowdsource patron city to the dog park?
Sounds like.
I would
And
think,
are we, and how do we feel about making the, what do we call it, 1A chunk of the garden? That 100,000 instead of the 900,000? Maybe try to zero in on,
Try to budget that just in our general
get
budget.
that, get that going somehow.
Accomplished.
I don't know.
Yeah, because this time of year, I mean, gardening, everyone's just getting into hibernating.
Right, but they're gonna start seed starting pretty soon.
In the spring, yeah, everyone wants to break loose, but now you have those animals that still need to go out and exercise, and I think for the,
Right,
and
right.
and that might be a good stable thing to start the first fundraising.
I don't wanna take away from the community garden.
How about, for next meeting, rank Cornhole, Dog Park, Pavilion Heat, 1A.
I'm sorry, start over.
So we got like, because we also have 3 projects we're trying to tackle at Grace. So if we add the community garden, that's another big one. I think we should probably rank those 4 and what we want to knock out first and try to make a game plan that way. So I think if we try to juggle 4, none of them will get done.
Well, I
No,
think we
we-
need to go back to our original. We've been through this prioritizing over and over and over again.
Well, now we have
The
to.
dog park and the community garden, has been in the, what's it called?
Master plan?
Thank you,
Rec.
for 8 years. So,
Okay, well, luckily, that works. Our action plan, year 2024, projects on hand were the warming hut, which we did do grant applications and tried to make progress on that, so check, we did that. 2024 Holiday Woodlands Natural Area, planning and design, check, we're in the process of doing that. Moving on to 2025, community garden is on there, construction of the community garden, ready for construction. Also in 2025, our Hammond Park and Arbutus 5 Phase 2.
So would you?
Wow.
Soccer field redevelopment, Grace McDonald, we ticked for 2027.
Oh,
but Hammond was going to be a dog park. We switched gears
Okay.
To Grace.
to
I
Grace.
think Grace is the better option.
oh, yeah.
Agree.
I think it's low-hanging fruit. I think a Grace Dog Park is low-hanging fruit.
So I'm all about low-hanging fruit.
So,
Phase
anyways,
2 of Arbutus, didn't we have 125 set aside for that?
Had,
Well, we can, they just,
Well,
they
we
just,
do.
We can just.
all we have to do is be like,
they
hey,
didn't say no, they said prove it.
right, they said, right, which I think that's a better idea.
they want us
Instead
to
of being like,
amend the
"Oh,
budget
Yeah.
each time, once we have it ready to go and be like, hey, we're ready.
We could do the same with the community garden.
Yeah?
We could just be like, hey,
I mean, if
You
we
know,
want $100,000.
Take the 125
Yeah.
or the 300, wherever,
What did we ask for?
so 425,000.
That's a good point. If we got 300,000 that they didn't exactly say no to Grace, and we can pump
I mean, I-
that dog park into this grant, then maybe we can shift the money over to the Phase 1A.
I mean, we could do both.
Did what I just say make
We
sense?
can match the grant from the Parks Commission side of things, and if we meet our goal, maybe the Board of Trustees will match.
For,
So the Parks Commission contributes and the trustees.
Double dip the township.
I know, same pot, but, you know.
Okay, so I think from what I'm hearing, for the public spaces, community places discussion is focusing on the dog park. Is there a desire to discuss the community garden further to establish what we should be moving forward with that as well?
We should put that on,
Thing next meeting?
that should be something next meeting we can maybe discuss.
Okay.
Or the next two, at least get the dog part. It sounds
Yeah, I
like
just
that,
wanna-
what we're trying to do, to get that going with that fundraising.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to prioritize and get
I mean,
individualized budgets. so
we're
we can get our
used to
money back.
juggling at least two projects at one time. And get real detailed with costs and, you know, obviously, once we get this rolling and planning, to be very precise in that pricing of what everything's gonna cost, because it sounds like that's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, we already have plans for the community garden and Grace McDonald with the cornhole and stuff like that, and the pavilion.
That's what I was thinking. Cornhole's the expensive one, but the plans are.
We don't have plans for a dog park yet. We would need something, but
Aren't we waiting to hear for a grant on the, or did we just hear
cornhole,
on the cornhole?
yeah,
We did not get it.
not get it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So-
We're doing 4 instead of 6, but we're trying to remember what the small project versus the big.
Yeah, it was
project.
only a couple versus, I think 2 versus,
2 sets
yeah.
versus, yeah, like 8 or
Yeah.
6.
And we wanted to modify the Grace Pavilion for
Right.
winter. Yeah.
That was the 2% grant that we put in for.
Yeah.
Was to add sides. a
Well, I was
fire
also
pit.
hoping that's a smaller dollar project, although I also thought that at the dog park. But if we get that, if that's a small dollar project and we get it done before the sledding party, I think that would be nice.
Like,
Not this sledding party.
I was
next-
gonna say.
Okay.
Next sledding, next sledding. Yeah, sorry.
That was the other thing with that, that crowdsource funding, like the project must be constructed within a year of receiving the funds, so we would have to have our,
We don't even have an engineer's plan yet.
well, we would need contractors and everything lined up, so.
Well, you're gonna need that whichever one you go with anyways.
That's a good point. We've got community garden plans, we don't have dog park plans.
But
Yeah, but, yeah, I don't know, it might be not as big of a deal. I don't know.
Well, we'll give it to the architects and they'll create this completely blown out of proportion concept that we will then have to scale down.
Well, if they know the budget ahead of time, they can,
Can we do this for 50,000? Just leave the current fence and maybe power
start at
wash it, sandblast
75,
it.
and we know they'll go over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we need a plan.
I don't think we'll get approved for any project without some kind of a drawing.
Right, well, no,
All
no.
right.
So, but, all right, well,
Do we need to ma,
My wheels are turning. I'm trying
I
to-
know, my brain's broke. My brain just broke. Thanks for that.
well, I think we can still continue to look into that,
That's right, it's not a,
crowdsource stuff,
And I,
move towards the
is
dog.
there a deadline for that, Sam, at
Nope.
all?
No,
it's kind of a rolling.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to make a final decision.
it's just, a lot of it's on us to do the crowdsource funding. So,
And it's not, you know, a win or lose, I mean, we still get stuff out of it too, you know, we get the exposure and, you know, region and community and stuff, so.
I mean, I guess like it wouldn't be a, I do share your concerns about it being like a flop, if you will, but it sounds like the worst case scenario is we just don't get the match from them and we just have less money available.
I can't remember if you get the donations, just not the match, if you don't reach the goal, or if it's all or nothing.
I mean, yeah, say we crowdsource and then they don't approve us, we just chip in the extra, I mean, the 25 anyways. It was not like they were gonna do a huge match, just so we don't let the crowdsourcing sector down.
Well, you can look at that and report that back next.
Yeah.
But you can also get feedback on if they think we'll be successful.
Yeah, if dog parks or something like that, they've done.
Dog park
before.
versus community garden
Well, I'd be-
versus how connected we are with our community.
And
That'd
they've
be-
done enough projects around here where they could probably have a pretty good idea of the community.
Fair local government.
And they probably have their own little database too,
Yeah.
of people to reach out to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested in their feedback based off of plans for a community park, community garden versus no plans for a dog park.
I also hate to say it, because I hate spending money on engineering costs, but do we ask Wade Trim for the most bare bones dog park drop they could do?
Well, we should probably do that anyway, because we have budgeted for that and we've agreed to do it.
Or maybe there's a specialty business out there that does that for dog parks.
Not Wade Trim.
Who did the
I was
counting?
gonna say, you know, at the conference, I mean, a lot of these people, you know, they build these designs of a dog park, you know, it's like a cookie cutter thing that they do. and-
Well, who did
Well,
the
and they
count?
could go also with the community garden.
And they, yeah,
There
I
are
mean,
people
they,
that know the lay of the land, you know, not engineers that build buildings.
Do we know who did Silver Lake? Did they just do it themselves?
That one gets
Yeah, they do it
really
themselves.
used.
the
And
Garfield,
I don't think
Well,
that's anything
it's,
fancy.
The new one
Yeah.
at Cherryland?
yeah, the one off Keystone.
Oh,
I don't
the
have a-
Keystone.
Yeah, there's one on Keystone and
I
Hammond.
didn't even realize that was there for the longest time. Someone
Because
just,
it's down the hill. and
Well, the
sign
first
is-
year you couldn't use it because they're growing grass. And then, I think this
Huh.
was the first year.
yeah, it's in like East River Recreation Area or something like that it's called?
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't, it's not like dog park,
Yeah.
yeah.
So should we get plans for our dog park?
Maybe.
Well, why don't you have him go find
Okay.
out if this makes sense for funding through this program, report back next month, and then you can decide if you want to move forward with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and actually, if I remember right, when we did this in the county, we didn't have plans or anything like that. You know, that was part of the process. We did that.
And that's true, plans, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is that enough for you to go off the stage? Great.
We get that by tomorrow, Sam?
I expect an email by 4 PM.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are generous. I would have done like 8 AM.
I'm just kidding, just kidding.
Call in the office.
All right, well, if we're all done discussing the public spaces, community places discussion, move on to public comment.
I would like to just say one thing, maybe we could discuss it at the next meeting, is they have, you know, like you have little free libraries, they have little sled libraries. Well, there's a
What?
school downstate that has its Summit on the Park Sled Library. Use a sled, have fun, return when you are done. So they have like a little, just a
Yeah.
little wire cart with some sleds in it so that the kids can use them and only put like 4 out there and, because probably some will get broken, hopefully not stolen, but I just thought it was kind of a nice,
Put one on Grace McDonald at the Hill?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
yeah, and then it looks like it has a disclaimer.
Yeah, there's gotta be some sort of
Use
liability.
at your own risk. It's kind of tiny, but we could probably Google that. It's, it looks like Summit Park. So it's got a little sign for little kids to,
I got a
Take a
couple
sled.
sleds I could probably donate.
Yeah.
anyways, it's kind of cute. And they just leave them out. They're not
Sorry,
fenced in
my-
or
My head's
anything.
just thinking liability.
I made a motion to approve today's agenda, and there was a mistake on our next line item.
Not January.
I apologize for that.
Dun, 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 dun,
Mhm.
dun, dun, dun,
And actually, that's a different date after your resolution anyways, because it's January
Yeah,
That's-
28th or something.
27th.
right?
Well, we're,
I
27,
The
25.
upcoming meeting date is listed as January 21st, 2024.
That's not gonna work. We're doing 2024 all over again. 7th, yes, the 27th at 2025.
Let's just leave 2020. Love and respect you, 24, but let's. I have, if I may, I have one more question. This MPERS conference is apparently coming up. It's in, did you say February?
Yeah, I have to look it up again. I haven't looked it up in a few months.
Have a booth?
A booth. I was just thinking we should go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's too late to do booths and stuff.
No, I thought that's where you were going with that, though.
Nope,
My bad.
nope.
I-
I was just.
I think we are paying a membership, we voted for that, and I think all of us have access to be able to
That would
go.
be great. Should I follow up with Beth, do you think? Would that be a good idea, or?
I was
would you
gonna
say-
ask, would you like a more formal update at your
I-
January meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, should
February.
we,
If we can get registered.
Like a what?
or if
Yeah.
it's, like, if it's more time sensitive,
I think the membership covers
or I could just
3
Google it
employees.
myself.
As for the list of commissioners, they don't have, they're not part of that, they're just like listed, if I remember right. And then there's like usually one day where they allow commissioners to be, or public officials to, go to the conference as well. But I don't know if that's still done or not, but,
I will follow up with an email with where that is at and how many people and what days and all of
That
that.
sounds perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
it's fun too, so it's.
Oh, well,
good
it's
thing to
fun. Then.
Is there
It's in
lunch?
March, it's the beginning of March,
do. It's March?
first week of March.
Wait,
All right,
there isn't, I'm just gonna tell Garrison there's a tabling opportunity.
all right. There's no more comments, there's no public, so there's no public comment. The upcoming meeting date, the next upcoming meeting date is January 27th. And that'd be 2025. And then, yeah, meeting's adjourned
Sweet.
at 7:11 PM.
Make a wish.
What'd you get?